The second I pulled that rusted lever, the lake came alive, a beast unleashed, roaring through the spillway with a vengeance. Water surged forward, tearing across the valley like a living thing. I stood firm on the dam's moss-covered concrete, boots planted, watching the current explode below. In the distance, alarms shrieked, sirens wailed, and the crackle of radios tried to grasp the chaos. One by one, rooftops sank beneath the rising tide shingles, lawn chairs, patio umbrellas, all gone. I didn't flinch. I didn't blink. I just watched. "You can't do this," someone yelled from the ridge road behind me. I didn't turn. They didn't know that, 20 minutes before, those 35 homes didn't exist on any map. Now, they were wreckage, floating like dead leaves on my lake. Let me take you back to before the flood, before the madness. But first, where are you hearing this from? Texas? California? Maybe a quiet place like Vermont? I want to know who's listening, because this is about holding your ground, even when you're alone. I'm Samuel Carter, 68, a retired civil engineer, a quiet man from a small town outside Jefferson, Georgia. Folks call me Mr. Lake not because I own Lake Serenity, though I did, but because I treated it like family. Spanning 50 acres, rimmed with Georgia pines and willows that whispered in the breeze, it was my haven. I bought it in '84 with my wife, Ellen, when we were young and scraping by. We built a cabin on the hill, raised 2 boys, buried 1, and after Ellen passed in 2015, that lake was my solace. I'd fish at dawn, sip coffee on the dock, and talk to her like she was still there. The water listened. Then came the developers, led by Catherine Wells, HOA president, all polished suits and fake smiles. She showed up on my porch with a brochure for Pinecrest Estates, a luxury lakefront community they planned to carve from my lake. I chuckled, thinking it was a bad sales pitch. "I own the lake," I said, coffee in hand. "We bought the land around it," she replied. 35 homes, lake-facing. "My water?" I asked. Her smile sharpened. "Not for long." That's when I sensed trouble. The dam, built in the 1940s, wasn't legally mine, sat on county land. I'd maintained it for decades, patching cracks, replacing floodgates, but on paper, it was theirs. The HOA found a loophole, draining parts of the lake, filling marshes, and running sewage lines through my old access roads. The county board shrugged when I protested, citing easement laws and suggesting a lawsuit I couldn't afford. Bulldozers ripped through my trees, gravel paths turned to driveways, and they sold plots still damp with lake water. I stayed silent, but silence isn't defeat. They didn't know I'd spent 40 years studying that dam, its bypass system, its wartime spillway, a secret the county forgot. They saw a scenic backdrop. I saw a weapon. Meet the players in this storm. Catherine Wells, HOA queen, drove a gleaming white SUV and wore heels on gravel, a real estate predator with a forced laugh. Her husband, Paul, followed like a shadow, nodding at her every word. They handpicked residents like casting a show. Then there was Ray, my neighbor of 20 years, who sold his land to the HOA for quick cash and never told me. "Just business," he said. I cut him off. My grandson, Noah, 17 and sharp as a blade, was my ally. He set up trail cameras around the lake and warned, "Grandpa, they'll erase you if you don't fight back." I tried civility at first, but then came the letters HOA warnings nailed to my gate, fines for my dog's barking, complaints about my dock's weeds. They even called my fishing boat, a keepsake from my son Daniel who died in Afghanistan, an eyesore. When they threatened to tow it, something snapped, not rage, but clarity. I knew what had to be done. The homes weren't finished, just foundations and half-built roofs. The HOA planned a grand reveal in 2 weeks. Banners, agents, drones. They'd lowered the lake's edge for a private beach, leaving the dam unchecked. Noah and I worked at night, loosening bolts on the control wheel, testing the flood valve until it creaked. We waited. On the reveal day, they sipped mimosas and cut ribbons. Families toured lots, kids skipped stones, oblivious. Just after lunch, I pulled the lever. The lake roared, reclaiming what was mine. But then I saw Ida moving truck at lot 11, a child's bike on the porch. A family was inside. My heart slammed as the water thundered. "Noah," I shouted. "Someone's in there." He spun from the shed, eyes wide, gauges forgotten. I ran, my 68-year-old knees screaming, down a muddy slope, scraping my elbow on a root. The water hit the homes, swallowing sidewalks and bricks. Lot 11's garage door was open, boxes stacked inside. A woman, mid-30s, stood on the porch, clutching a toddler, screaming words the flood drowned out. Noah sprinted past with a canoe paddle, yelling, "I'll grab the boat." But the current snapped the rope, and Daniel's boat spun away, lost. No boat, no bridge, just water and panic. Noah pointed to the utility ATV behind the cabin, built for hauling trees, with roll bars and a snorkel. "Back to the cabin," I barked. We tore up the ridge, grabbed life vests, and roared back down. The woman, Rachel, clung to her son, Liam, while her husband, Ben, waved a rake uselessly. The ATV groaned through waist-high water, tires fighting the current. Noah spotted a gravel ridge, and I angled toward it, 10 feet from their porch. "Get in," I yelled. Ben leapt into the cargo bed. Rachel passed Liam to me, and I pulled her aboard. The ATV bucked, but held. We reached high ground, Rachel sobbing, "You saved us." But I felt no hero, only a fool. I'd wanted vengeance, not caring who got caught. They'd just moved in, unaware of the HOA's schemes, pawns in a game they didn't know. Catherine's guests fled, her SUV sank to its headlights, and she stormed through the mud, screaming, "Samuel Carter, what have you done?" I didn't answer, staring at Liam's face buried in Rachel's shoulder. She shrieked about prison and environmental terrorism, but I shot back, "Hope your permits hold up in court." She didn't know I'd given proof of their forged reports and illegal fill-ins to reporter Emily Stone, filming live. "We're in Jefferson County, where a flood has exposed HOA corruption," Emily announced, freezing Catherine mid-rant. Sheriff Hayes arrived with deputies, code enforcement, and environmental teams. "Mr. Carter, come with us," he said. I raised my hands, unafraid the truth was rising with the water. Then a deputy whispered to Hayes, who frowned. "Why's a second valve open?" My heart stopped. "What?" Hayes said the dam crew reported another spillway, unmentioned by me, dumping water fast. Noah swore he hadn't touched it. The fail-safe valve, untouched for 40 years, could collapse the southern ridge where the HOA's clubhouse sat. "Patch me to the dam crew," I demanded, grabbing a radio. "South Spillway, auxiliary, World War II era," they confirmed. Full collapse in 20 minutes. The clubhouse, with its granite counters and infinity pool, had people inside. I sent Noah for the emergency wrench and rode with Hayes to the south ridge. Water gushed like a wound, iron bars snapping like twigs. 2 staffers waved from the balcony. I slammed the rusted control panel's brake lever, it wouldn't budge. Noah arrived with the wrench. I dug through mud, cranked the bolt, and the valve screeched shut, slowing the flow just enough for a rescue canoe to save the staffers. 30 seconds later, the ridge collapsed, the clubhouse crumbling into the lake's depths, a geyser of debris erupting skyward. Emily's camera caught it all. Catherine stood on her drowned SUV, phone useless. But then Emily turned to me. "The HOA filed an injunction yesterday, claiming you threatened sabotage. Your neighbor Ray filmed you." I glared into the woods, where Ray stood, smirking, camera bag in hand, beside a county official with a folder. "Mr. Carter," the official said, "your 1984 deed may be invalid due to a clerical error excluding the dam and southern ridge." My stomach dropped. "You're saying my land isn't mine?" "The court would decide in 5 days, potentially seizing the dam." Noah exploded, but I stayed calm. "I need county archives," I told Hayes. "Every map, survey, from 1940 on. I designed that dam. I kept records." That night, I opened Ellen's old chest, pulling out notarized surveys from '86, signed by Commissioner Margaret Lane. Noah found her granddaughter, Zoning Director Abigail Lane, who confirmed the documents. But a new video surfaced online. Old man floods HOA with illegal dam release, with a comment from Lake Guard, hinting at something buried under the lake in '99. I told Noah about the dock we built for Daniel, where we buried his journal and Ellen's locket after his death. "How'd they know?" he asked. I didn't know unless someone was digging up my past. Abigail was arrested for allegedly forging my deed, tipped off by the HOA. Furious, I marched into the courthouse with Noah, carrying a binder of evidence. trail cam footage of Ray planting fake barrels, the 86 surveys, and Emily's drone clip. Margaret Lane, now 90, testified, confirming my ownership. The judge paused the injunction, but that night, someone torched my dock, destroying Daniel's journal and Ellen's locket. Gasoline, arson, no witnesses. The message, back down. But I had nothing left to lose. I went to Emily's news van, demanding to go live. My name is Samuel Carter, I told the camera. This isn't just about a flood, it's about greed and lies. I exposed the HOA's fraud, Ray's betrayal, and the fake barrels. The video hit 5 million views. Whistleblowers emerged, leaking emails, fake reports, and an audio of Ray bragging about framing me. The HOA collapsed under subpoenas. At a county meeting, I proposed a public park on the southern ridge, named for Daniel, with a veterans memorial. The town cheered, and construction began. Months later, Rachel and Liam visited. "Can I fish with you, Mr. Carter?" Liam asked. I nodded, choking back tears. The lake wasn't just mine, Anna Marie, it belonged to everyone who fought for truth. So, when someone tries to steal what's yours, don't just yell. Open the dam.